Religiously, understand the 7 principles of hell. You understand the 7 demons within you. You understand the whole concept. There's a whole metaphysical concept. We ain't go over that, but anyway, so from a spiritual standpoint now when we say demons are owners, what happens when you vibrate in that frequency, when you have those emotions? Understand what emotions are. Your soul has to express it. That's your
8, that makes sense. That kind of explains why I feel the way that I feel and I perceive things the way that I do. Check this out, coach. In a family of tradition, I stand out like a sore thumb. Born into the wrong lineage, feeling like I'm on the run, surrounded by expectations that I can never meet, yearning for a different fate, longing for retreat, mismatched with my bloodline, and outside of my own home, struggling to find my place, feeling lost all alone.
Outside in. You have to work from the inside out.
Right.
The reason people can't manifest because they don't even believe they can have what they asking for. You got to match that frequency. And belief is a feeling, it's not a thought. Right? This is where people get all this mixed up. So if you feel what you think, feel to think. This is why you have dream boards and stuff like that, right? They want you to look at it and use those 5 senses. Any practitioner teaching you how to manifest things, what do they always say? Go and put yourself around the things you want. Why? So you can use those 5 senses so you can get a feeling of what the things are. So now you have a clear picture of what things are. So now people will try to manifest and look for the object they manifesting, but they not matching the frequency of it. So what happens is the universe gives you things to build you up to matching that frequency, to your own personal belief that you even deserve what you're asking for.
Yo, you spitting some gems right there, coach. But for those of y'all in the background, man, check this out, yo. They say karma's bad, but is it true? Depending on your actions, that's how she'll come for you. She's a friend to me, but an enemy in your head. Karma brings me peace, while in your mind she spreads dread. We blame God for the problems around us, turning a deaf ear to our own mistakes. We blame the devil for our misguided actions, lost in the shadows of regret and mistakes. Elders criticize, we rebel in return, cutting off potential, lessons unlearned. Butterflies trapped in cocoons, dreams adjourned. A cycle of disrespect, the flames still burn. Parents strife growth, children push away. Generations clash, never finding a way. In heaven in progress, the price we pay. Butterflies grounded, never to sway. The cycle repeats, a never-ending chain. Misunderstandings persist, causing pain. Lost potential lingers like a stain. Generations at odds, searching in vain. We're stuck in a cycle of pain and sorrow, hoping for a better tomorrow. Black lives matter, white lives matter too. It's time to unite and break through. I'm just saying, it's 2025, but it feels like it's 1942. Black lives matter, white lives matter. That's the plea. Blaming the white man for all the hate that we see. Yet we're still killing our own kin. Can't break free. Struggling to find peace in this chaotic scene. Racism and violence tearing at the seams. Pointing fingers while we continue to demean. Looking ahead with hope in our hearts. Learning from our past mistakes, making new starts. Together we stand against all that tears us apart. Black or white, it's time for a fresh start. We're quick to point fingers at others, but in reality, it's ourselves that we need. The power to change lies within us. Why blame others when we can be our own lead? Just a little food for thought.
But they trick you. They told you it's something outside you coming into you. That's how they get you to accept God is outside you. That's that whole concept. God knows it's in you. That's why when you have a deep desire, things come true. When you get that feeling of God in the way. Because that's truth. But it's not outside of you, it's inside. They don't want you to know it's inside. Because there's a group of people, it's not inside of you. They have to get you to participate and give that energy away so they can have those experiences. And that's what most people do. Are worshiping something outside themselves. You're giving that energy away. I should have did this on purpose.
In the balance of right and wrong, karma scales tip where they belong. She rewards my deeds with serenity, but in your thoughts, she breathes enmity. What you sow, you shall reap. Karma's justice runs deep. I find solace in her embrace while she hunts you with no grace. In the wrong generation, lost in time's illusion. God's mixed up in my mother's womb, a cosmic confusion. Feeling out of place like a puzzle piece misplaced. Searching for my purpose in this unfamiliar space. Born into a world that doesn't quite fit. A old soul trapped in a modern day script. Yearning for simplicity, longing for connection. In a fast-paced world of constant rejection, I navigate this life with an ancient soul's gaze. Struggling to find my path in these chaotic days. Perhaps God had a plan beyond what I can see to challenge me to grow and set my spirit free.
But they done tricked you. They done told you it's something outside you coming into you. That's how they get you to accept God is outside you. That's that old concept. God knows it's in you. That's why when you have a deep desire, things come true. When you get that feeling of God made away. Because that's true. But it's not outside of you, it's inside. They don't want you to know it's inside. Because there's a group of people, it's not inside of them. They have to get you to participate and give that energy away so they can have those experiences. And that's what most people do. By worshiping something outside themselves. You're giving that energy away.
Get you a word.
I should have did this on the word.
Focus on the future. Let the love be our guide. From the streets to the halls, let's make change. Break the chains of the past, let's rearrange. Y'all really stuck? You know. In the shadow of my dreams, I was. Yeah, we living in a world where the rules don't apply. They say we gotta follow, but we ready to fly. System got us boxed in, trying to keep us small. But we rise like the phoenix, we ain't scared to brawl. They feeding us lies, but we see through the smoke. We're the voice of the people, we're ready to provoke. They want us to divide, but we're stronger as one. Breaking chains, taking names, yeah, we getting it done. It's us versus the system, we're breaking the mold. Fist in the air, yeah, we taking control. No more silence, no more fear. Together we rise, let them know we're here. Riders ignite. In the world of division, they showed us how to share. But the weight of our sorrows, they never taught us to bear. We split our joys and laughter, but the pain remained untold. A burden we carry alone, a story left untold. They taught us to split everything, but not the heavy pain. He lingers in the shadows, a darkness we can't explain. We're left with shattered pieces, trying to mend what's lost. They taught us how to split everything, but not the heavy cost. We learned to divide our dreams and multiply our fears. But the ache in our hearts only grew with passing years. They gave us all the answers, except how to heal. The scars that run so deep, wounds that time can't seal. Yeah, they taught us how to share, but only the good. Smiles and laughter like we understood. But deep down inside, there's a storm we hide. Pain in our hearts, we're just trying to ride. Put on a mask, yeah, we play the part, but nobody sees the cracks in the hearts. We share our dreams, the highs and the lows, but when it comes to hurt, we just close the doors. We share the fun times, deflect the pain, laughing in the sunshine, dancing in the rain. But the shadows linger, they creep and they crawl, breaking us down, but we don't share at all. We got hate in our hearts, but we keep concealed. Taught to share the joy, but wounds, they stay unhealed. They say love was easy to divide, but the heartache never subsides. We tried to split everything into two, but the pain lingers strong and true. Shared our dreams, divided our fears, but the sorrow remained through the years. No matter how we tried to let go, the weight of our suffering continued to grow. Now we're apart trying to heal, but some wounds are too deep to conceal. They said splitting up will set us free, yet the pain lingers in you and me. In a world where rules are set in stone, the system's grip tightens, we're not alone. Bound by chains of injustice greed. Against the odds, we fight to be free. Mighty forces try to keep us down, but our spirits rise, refusing to drown. Defying norms, breaking through the mold. In this battle of wills, our story is told. As the clash continues day by day, we stand united, come what may. For in this world where rules don't apply, our strength and unity will never die. They try to silence our dreams, but we're loud and clear. With every step forward, conquering fear. They can't hold us back. We're the fire and the flame in this battle for freedom. We're all in the game. They say it's just a game, but we're playing for keeps. With the strength of the many, we're shattered the leaps. No more puppets on strings, we're cutting the ties. With our eyes on the prize, we're reaching for the skies. So let's stand together, let's break down the walls. In this fight for our future, we'll answer the calls. From the ashes, we'll rise like a storm. Riders ignite, it's us versus the system, and we're ready to fight. They building walls, but we're digging tunnels. With every step we take, we're shaking the bundles. From the streets to the courts, we're raising our voice. In a world full of noise, we're making the choice. They want to keep us blind, but we see the light. Knowledge is power, and we're ready to fight. From the corners of the city to the halls of the state, where the heartbeat of the struggle can't afford to wait. It's us versus the system. We're breaking the mold. It's in the air, yeah, we taking control. No more silence, no more fear. Together we rise. Let them know we're here. Riders ignite. They taught us to split everything, but not the heavy pain. It lingers in the shadows, a darkness we can't explain. We're left with shattered pieces, trying to mend what's lost. They taught us how to split everything, but not the heavy cost. Now we stand here broken, searching for some light, hoping for a way out of this never-ending night. But through it all, we find strength in each other's embrace. Together we'll face tomorrow and find solace in this space. They say don't bring the drama, keep it all light. But every night I'm fighting these demons in sight. Whispers in my mind, yeah, they echo when they shout. While I'm smiling on the surface, I'm breaking without. We're sharing the laughter, but what's underneath? A battlefield of sorrow, a war with no peace. We're warriors in silence, but nobody knows how the pain that we carry just grows and it grows. In a world of lessons learned, they taught us how to stand and burn. But the scars we hide deep inside are the ones that never subside. We follow all the rules they made, but the emptiness never fades. They're wounds like knives, cutting through even wounds that always grew. They painted pictures of success, but couldn't fix what's left of us. Now we're left to bear the strain of the pain that lingers, never wanes. It's us versus the system. We're breaking the mold. That's in the air. Yeah, we're taking control. No more silence, no more fear. Together we rise. Let them know we're here. Riders ignite. So remember this moment. Remember this face. Remember this sound. We're the voice of the future, and we won't back down. In the face of oppression, we'll stand up tall. It's us versus the system. And unite. I don't get tired of telling people that social media. Hey, what up, everybody? I hope all of y'all is having a blessed and humble afternoon. Damn, I listen. I was watching. I was over there with dishing dirt. Wait, damn, she had both pages open with Sheriff Clara dishing dirt. All right, I was over there, man. I was over there getting this live together. I had a couple interruptions while that's why I had the poetry playing and stuff like that. But man, shout out to Sheriff Clara, all right. Shout out to Dish and Dirt, man. She knows how to keep the humor, but she's been on some bringing awareness type shit, all right. I was really interested in the topic that she was bringing, about. So big shout out to her. And if y'all haven't, listen, I gotta put her in the stream elements. So, I think I'm gonna put it under exclamation Madame DeVille. All right. I don't know if y'all know who Madame DeVille is, but listen, man, I'm gonna show y'all in a minute. Well, I'll show y'all before I get this, because we're going to get serious when we get on the D4VD. All right. And damn, I went off. Like, listen, man, let me welcome everybody to the Writers for Life brings you the Let's Talk About It podcast. All right. Shit. Listen, we're going down the rabbit hole again. We've been down so many rabbit holes to try to, how can I say, make sense of certain things that come out. All right. Now, people have been wanting me to, touch on this topic for a while. All right, I've been doing my research for a little minute because I ain't want to, jump into it like I did with the Charlie Kirk situation. All right, so I did a little research on this. All right, people, listen, my DMs is full. All right, it is loaded. Let me bring this light down a little bit because I ain't writing no more. All right. So this D4VD case, this situation, man, it is crazy, all right? And we're going to get into it, all right, in a minute, all right? But I want y'all, all right, listen, I need y'all to go check out Sheriff Clara, all right, when y'all get a chance. Listen, she be funny as hell, all right? and I'm about to show y'all, all right, who Madame DeVille is, all right? I love the fact that she could play, she could make that character come to life without even wanting to. I don't even think those were her intentions, but the way she be on this show, yeah, I be geeking, man. I be geeking. Let me see if I can find a scene. No. I need to find a scene. Now look. What we got here? Nope. Oh, here we go. Let's play this one. All right. I'm gonna show y'all who all the Queen's men is. Whoa, wait. Wrong settings, dude. Wrong settings, alright? You gotta come over here. Come over here. Alright, don't get discombobulated, alright? Let me see.
Yeah.
Yes.
Come here.
Oh, that shit slow motion like that. Hell no, I don't want this in slow motion. Where we at? Oh, playback speed. Uh-oh. Go back. Playback speed. I just want you to talk a little faster.
Yeah.
Yes.
Come here.
That's too fast. Got you right there. All right, so we're gonna play a quick little clip because this belongs to BET, all right, and I ain't trying to get, you know. So that's Madam right here. This Madam DeVille, all right, and that's one of her workers. Most of the time, I say, you know, this right here is her. Listen, listen. I would say that's the answer, and the other one is TJ, the one they're about to take out the cast.
Yeah.
Yes.
Come here.
Boom.
I don't know what this thinks is going on here, but it's not what she thinks.
Yeah, I know.
Dumbass thinks I'm running some kind of criminal enterprise. It's stupid.
She's out of her mind.
Yes, she is. Look, I need you to change your clothes and get dressed. I need you on the stage. That is how I make my money, okay? That's how I make my money. Get the fuck on stage. That's how I make my money. Don't be out here playing with the workers. Great. I'm going to ask you this one time.
Now, madam, you know you don't have to ask me that.
Is that why you're eating your jacket? Huh?
She gave me my jacket. I should have known she was up. I think you broke my nose. Madam, you gotta believe me. I'm telling the truth.
The only reason you're even breathing right now is because of what happened to him.
What happened there?
Don't worry about that.
Look, I'm telling you. I didn't say anything.
What the hell? Tom.
Let me pause it right here, yo, man. Y'all need to go check out all the Queens, man. Let me get that out of there. Let's get serious, all right? Let's get serious, all right, yo. Make sure y'all go check out Sheriff Claire Dishing Dirt and Dishing Dirt Uncut, all right? Damn. I gotta go into her channel to get the link. Fuck, I don't got no mods right now. Shit. It's all right. Because what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna add her to the stream elements, and the next time I go live, all right, y'all will be able to put down exclamation Madam DeVille, and y'all will be able to go to her channels. All right. So listen, let's get right on to this, man. Big shout out to her, man. She's been, you know, bringing awareness on this YouTuber that, you know, is out here. Listen, me personally, I feel as though there's somebody that has, you know, been accused of, you know, raping or, you know, how can I say, molesting, whatever, right? Anybody, whether it's a woman or a child, all right, a teenager. Once you take something against someone's will, man, listen, fuck it. You're a part of that, you know, category. I don't give a fuck if the judge didn't put you. Listen, I get that. We not in court. We out here. We in the streets, all right? And it's crazy because in certain situations, right, coming from a survivor, a lot of stories, right, that a lot of victims come out here and say, it's hard to believe because they speak a little too late because of fear. All right. I know that a lot of y'all don't know, you know, what I do, right? But I do have, you know, for my normal subscribers, like y'all know, man, Shorty's been working on her book, right? On her, you know, on her past, you know, how she overcame it and much. I am going to read, you know, chapter 1. All right. The last time I read 4 pages, but I'm going to read chapter 1. And I'm doing this for my subscribers. All right. For those that have been following me for a while, because listen, I've been talking about writing this for a minute. I'm only on chapter 3 right now. Shout out to Selena, because after that interview, she helped me brainstorm some ideas and on how to put my book together, all right? Because what's crazy is that y'all don't understand that I do have to go into, you know, some dark spaces in my mind, in my head, all right? And relive these times, all right, in order to write this down, all right? And listen, man, sober, I ain't doing it. So shout out to Mary Jane. So listen, me and Mary Jane have gotten together. We've sat down, all right? We write.
And boom, we've been writing everything from the very beginning. Even though chapter 1 is just an introduction right into that door. That's why I want to put chapter 1 out there first. Then little by little we get into these chapters as I'm going. All right, and what's crazy is by me doing this, my subscribers, those that have been following me, will get a chance to hear the book before it gets published. All right. So I appreciate those that have been supporting, those that have been rocking out, those that bring awareness to these type of situations. All right, because it helps us out here that are bringing awareness to this, right? Easier in a way. All right. Because believe it or not, we got people on here pretending, to be, this good person. In reality, deep down inside, they nothing more than just a predator out here preying. All right, using this digital veil, all right, world as their, how can I say, their cover up, their mask, all right, to get away with what they want to get away with. All right, and what's crazy is, right, the sheriff, all right, madam, is bringing out, awareness to. Let me not say madam while I'm saying this, right? The sheriff, all right, is bringing awareness to somebody that's on social media like this. And it's crazy when you look at it, right? This boy right here on some real shit is giving me on some type of D4VD type vibes. And that's the case that we're about to jump into, right? The topic that we're about to talk about. And y'all need to be careful, right? I'm just letting y'all know, from one content creator to another, from a mother to, other mothers out there, all right? From a parent to other parents out there, all right? Be careful with your kids, all right? One of the things that we have brought awareness to heavy on here, right? When I first started going podcasting, right? When I started doing these lives and started doing this, right? Was about the Minecraft, all right, Roblox and stuff like that. And now what's crazy is Roblox, all right? Not all of them, but Roblox is getting, sued left to right because of what's happening within their, platform, allowing predators and, covering up for them and stuff like that. Unfortunately, here on YouTube, all right, we got people that sugarcoat, and cover up for predators. They really do. And what's crazy is, right, out here in these streets, is a little different. Ain't no covering up. But I guess social media is a little different, all right? Whew. With that being said, guys, listen. Let me go back over here. Let me put something on real quick. Cause what the fuck just happened to my video? Y'all trying to... Oh, wait. Whoa. What happened? Give me 1 second, guys. Give me 1 second. That shit crazy. Let me put this on right here. Oh, that's the wrong one.
Prayers out for our real men doing what they gotta do. While on this app, we have men of age acting worse than our kids do. Demanding respect by acting a fool. Saying they're the alphas running the pack, but in reality, they're on their knees. Couldn't run the trap, now they're just a tease. So here's a shout out to the real men out there who handle their business without care, while the fake alphas talk a big game, but in the end they're all just the same. So keep doing you, real men of the world, and let the fake ones continue to twirl in their own little fantasy land, while the real men rise and take a stand. Prayers out for our real men, may they always shine bright and leave the fake alphas in their own little plight. There once was an ex-cop so old who laid icy tears so cold. He loved the little old lady in the garden. Together they played victim begging pardon. Mad at a celebrity who didn't care. They protected predators, it wasn't fair. He agreed and took sides with a man in his 40s who admitted to doing inappropriate deeds with a minor. Oh please, oh how do we respect such a man who hurts our angels? It's not the plan. Lost and confused, he needs a hand to find his cucumber, oh so grand. Mamie Gartner will teach him so well to be a man and stop the spell. Speaking on woman who didn't bother him, let's help him find his way with a grin. Give him something to tell. In the real world, street justice will be swift for predators to prey on the innocent gift. But on this app, it's a different tale, where predators hide behind the digital veil. Men and women admit to their inappropriate deeds. With minors, they praise and protect their misdeeds. While warriors fight to protect our angels online, predators lurk waiting for their next vile crime. To all the warriors, keep standing tall, protecting our kids, never letting them fall. Let's watch over our children with care and show the predators we won't let them dare. Just try us. So keep fighting for our kids' rights and keep them safe from the online frights. Let's show these predators they have no respect and keep our children safe from the neglect. Older folks with no dignity, demanding respect with no humility, thinking they're the bee's knees, but really they're just a bunch of sillies. Bishops preaching from the Bible, but acting like they're in denial. Talking to young men like they're in jail, ignoring coffins in their tail. Grown men gossiping about the dead, forgetting every action has a thread. Demanding respect without honor, thinking they're untouchable online. What a goner. But little do they know, their antics will show. No matter where they hide, their true colors will be spilled. The older men I admire carry themselves with grace. They know who they are and where they're going in this race. They won't bash women, they know when to walk away and when to stand and fight. They show us a better way. Not every battle is meant to be won. They've earned respect with honor. While on this app, some older men seek attention, causing drama, arguing with women, bouncing on rainbows it seems. How can we respect that and keep our dreams? Let's learn from the wise and carry ourselves with pride, respecting others, showing love and letting our true selves shine bright. I don't know why men come online and be messy, but women do it too, so let's not get testy. These older folks run plays trying to deceive, but when we catch on, they play the victim. Can you believe? How can we respect those who bully and bash? They turn around and act like they're the ones with the stash. Demanding respect because of their age, forgetting respect has no numbers, it's not a cage. So where do we go from here? I'm at a loss, standing up and fighting back no matter the cost. We won't be pushed around, we won't be swayed. Respect is earned, don't demand it, that's how we'll stay. So let's not be fooled by the games in their lives.
All right, we back. I apologize for that, man. Like, everything got discombobulated. I don't know what's up with StreamYard. StreamYard's been messing with everybody, all right? Like, I don't know what the issue is with StreamYard and YouTube, but they need to get their issues, all right? They business together, all right? Because they messing with us. Like, chill. We found the video, all right? So, listen, I'm going to read to y'all the first chapter of my book, and then we're going to hop into this D4VD. All right. Shout out to my, day one subscribers, my new subscribers. I'm not going to sit here and lie. Listen, if it wasn't for y'all, a shorty wouldn't have made it this far. All right. Like, I really appreciate that. Y'all listen, man. Y'all been supporting me from the first channel all the way up to this channel. All right. And I really appreciate y'all. All right. So, listen. Today, we're going to be going down the rabbit hole again, but this time is with D4VD, all right? What's really going on, all right? I'm not going to lie. This story is confusing, disturbing, and straight up wild, all right? People been sending me videos nonstop, and every new detail makes it worse, all right? If this man really did all this, murder, grooming, hiding a body, then why is he still walking free? Let's be real. This isn't just about one pop star. This is about a system that protects fame over facts. A girl was 13. Her body was found in a car registered to him. All right. They had matching tattoos and yet silence. Tours canceled. But you know what? No changes. Make it make sense. As parents, we gotta, be cops, detectives, inspectors, and investigators in our kids' lives because the world out here, all right, is moving reckless. And the system is too busy protecting the wrong people. All right. Today we're going deep. No fluff, no filters. All right. If you're tired of the cover-ups, the confusion, and the silence, man, pull up and let's talk. All right. But before we get, into this D4VD, all right, topic heavy. I'm still working on a title, all right, on this book. But listen, we're going to get into chapter 1, all right, of a shorty's book. And this is how it goes. All right. Chapter 1, Inked in Silence. I didn't come into this world soft. Philly raised me loud. Layered and unfiltered. Layered and unfiltered before the mic, before the movement, before they called me an advocate. I was a girl dodging systems built to erase girls like me. Girls who survive, who fought, who refuse to fall. We all have a past, mine's dark, like the shadows little girls walk through trying to reach the light. I grew up in a house where silence was survival, but my spirit, It refused to whisper. It screamed in sketches, in side eyes, in scars. The pain, the pain is a story tattooed on my skin. Every mark, every memory, every moment I didn't break. They saw attitude. I was building armor. They saw defiance. I was defending my name. They saw a girl too loud, too raw, too much, but I was just enough to start a fire. Rest in peace, Celeste. Facts. Rest in peace to that listen, rest in peace to that young lady, all right? She was a teenager. She was not, listen, she was not a girl, not yet a woman, all right? She was a young lady that went through some trauma and a lot of abuse, all right? And what's crazy is that media doesn't help it. Media out here puts batteries on people's backs, all right? Like, this is why I want to say, I want to give a big shout out to all those out here that do bring awareness, all right, to these type of situations, all right? These topics where, a lot of people don't want to talk about it because it's sensitive. But at the end of the day, if we don't talk about it, how do we make change? How do we bring awareness? How do we prevent something like this from happening in the future? All right? It's called Reclaim, and this is, basically what I'm doing by writing this book too. All right? Well, may Celeste rest in peace. My condolences go out to family members that did care about her. All right, because I don't know, something's off in this story, in this situation when it comes to Celeste. All right, chapter 1, page 2, questions in the dark, and we're going back to the book. All right, guys, and then we're going to jump into D4VD real quick. As a child, I asked questions no one wanted to answer. Why is this happening to me? Why does love feel like fear? Why does the person who's supposed to protect me call me a liar instead? I didn't understand the world I was born into. I just knew something was wrong. While he kept hurting me, I kept asking, trying to make sense of the silence, trying to believe that someone would listen, but she didn't. She called me crazy. She chose him. And that choice, it carved something deep onto me. Anger, pain, distrust. I started lashing out, not because I was wild, but because I was wounded, because the truth was too heavy to carry alone. Because when you scream and no one hears you, you learn to roar. I didn't know then that my questions were seeds, that one day they grow into truth, that one day they grow into, my bad, that one day they grow into truth telling, into advocacy, into fire. But back then I was just a little girl in the dark, asking why love felt like betrayal and why silence felt like punishment. Page 3. The lie that broke me. As a child, I lived in country, and as a child, I lived in. Oh, that's somebody walking by. As a child, I lived in contradiction. My mom told me no one should ever touch me in my private parts. She said if someone made me uncomfortable, I should tell her. So I did. I told her. Even when he said no one would believe me, not even her. Even when he said I'd be punished for speaking, I still spoke. And in that moment, his words felt true. Because she didn't believe me. She looked me in the face and called me a liar. Said it couldn't be true. That man loved us. Said I was making it up. Said there would be consequences. I was hurt, confused, betrayed. Why tell me to speak if my truth was too ugly to hear? Why teach me to trust her, then punish me for doing it? I didn't know who else to go to. Would they believe me? Would they call me crazy too? Would they protect him like she did? So I went quiet. But silence didn't mean peace. It meant rage. It meant lashing out. It meant trying to scream through my actions because my words have been denied. I thought maybe if I acted out, they finally listened, but they didn't hear the pain behind the punch. They just saw a girl acting up, never asked why, never looked deeper. Hey! Page 4. Lashing out only made things worse. They saw defiance. They missed the wound. How do you speak when you think no one will listen? I cried in silence for years. The abuse started before I even knew. The abuse started before I even knew what school was. Before I could spell danger, I was living in it. I went from a happy little girl to who I went from a oh my bad. I went from a happy little girl to one who lurked in the shadows, watching every man like he might be the next monster. Because the first one wore a mask of love, because the first one was chosen by my mother. I was dying on the inside, but on the outside, I was loud. I was angry. I was pushing people away, not because I didn't want love, but because I didn't trust it. The pain inside me opened a wound that wouldn't heal, a wound that bled into every relationship, every classroom, every moment I was supposed to be normal. I had a real life Freddy Krueger, not just in my dreams, but in my shadows. He haunted my silence. He twisted my trust. And every time I tried to scream, the world told me to whisper. Page 5. The mask, the silence, the shift. After a while, the silence became normal, not safe, just familiar. I stopped ex- I stopped expecting rescue. I stopped expecting truth. I started building walls instead of bridges because every time I reached out, I got burned. I used to think something was wrong with me, that maybe I deserved it, that maybe I was broken. But deep down, I knew I was just a little girl trying to survive a nightmare. They saw attitude, they saw rebellion, but they never saw the little girl behind the mask, the one scared and screaming for help in every way she knew how. I wore defiance like armor. I sharpened my tongue like a blade because if they wouldn't hear my truth, they feel my pain. Just so they would listen, I tried everything: pills, windows, blades. I wasn't trying to die, I was trying to be heard. But every time I spoke, here came the consequences. My mom first, then family. Some people said they believed, but I didn't trust it. I thought they were playing me too, just like she did. So I built a shield, thick, heavy, cold. I thought maybe if I didn't exist, things would be better, but they got worse. Why am I still here? If I do right, they take my innocence. If I do wrong, they label me a menace. As a kid going through this kind of trauma, it's more than hard, it's hell. Being made a woman ahead of time, against your will, with no one to turn to, isn't just a nightmare. It's a real life horror. Not on Elm Street, but in Philly, in my house, in my skin. Page 7. The captain of my ship. Give me 1 second, guys. If you want to understand my story, how I overcame the abuse, the betrayal, the obstacles, you have to start at the beginning. And the beginning is dark, so pay attention. Because the man who hurt me still walks these streets. He has no control over me now, but I pray he never touches another child. I pray no one else has to live the nightmare I did. I fought through days so dark they swallowed my light. I clawed my way through silence, through shame, through screams that no one wanted to hear. And yes, I've overcome, but don't get it twisted. I still get nightmares. I still feel the echoes. Healing isn't forgetting, it's reclaiming. Now I'm the captain of my ship. My thoughts, my emotions, my story. I'm older now, wiser, louder. But back then it was like this. Page 8. The door to the dark. Back then, I didn't know how to reclaim anything. I didn't even know what reclaiming meant. I was just a child trying to survive, a monster with no mask. A real life Freddy Krueger, not in my dreams, but in my room, in my mornings, in my silence. There was no escape, no safe space, no pause button, just a cycle: sleep, wake, fear, and repeat. And when you live like that, you don't learn to heal, you learn to hide, to perform, to protect yourself from the truth, because the truth is too heavy to carry alone. This was the system, the silence. I mean, my bad. This was the storm, the silence, the scream, the part of my story that shaped everything after. And if you really want to understand me, not just the woman I am now, but the girl I was then, you need to walk through that door. All right, guys. And I'm going to stop it right there because chapter 2, right? The night the door was closed, I'll read it on another live. And we're going to get started on this. All right. We are going to, but before I do that, give me 1 second. All right. Let me, get myself together a little bit real quick.
In the shadow of my dreams, I was confined a prisoner of my own mind, hoping to find escape from the horrors that kept haunting me. Chained to a bed, just imagine a nightmare with Freddy. Every night his claws would scrape against my fears. A twisted dance, waking, dripping in cold sweat and tears. But deep within, a flicker of strength found its way. I'm about to break free from this endless fray. Growing up, it felt like I was in prison, shackled to a bed and life filled with derision. But now I rise, armored against my own fright. No longer bound, I'm ready to face the fight. Through the darkness, I found the light of resilience, unlocking the power to break these chains of existence. No longer confined to the grip of my past, I'll sculpt a new reality that will forever last. I face the demons that once held me down. Now they tremble as I wear my battle crown. With every step I take on this path of liberation, I reclaim my power and rewrite this narration. Growing up, it felt like I was in prison, shackled to a bed and life filled with derision. But now I rise, armored against my own fright. Freddy may have haunted my nights before, but now I'm stronger than ever, knocking on his door. I'll stand tall and break these nightmares apart. No longer confined, I'll conquer my fears with heart. Growing up, it felt like I was in prison, shackled to a bed and life filled with derision. But now I rise, armored against my own fright. No longer bound, I'm ready to face the fight. Growing up, it felt like I was in prison. Just imagine being chained to a bed. Just imagine nightmare with Freddy. We all have a story in our life that has caused us trauma. Scars tattooed in our skin that can never be forgotten. Memories that are partially forgiven. If we could only see that at times we're our own worst enemy. This is my story.
Alright. So here we go, guys. So like I was saying earlier, out of all the videos that they've sent me, it looks like this lady right here. I'm not sure if she's part of a newscast or what. All right, I'm not on my channel. All right, I'm on my premium channel. That's the channel that the family uses. All right. So listen, this lady and some other chick named going down the rabbit hole. I think it is something like that. They seem the most like they've been doing their research. But she seems more like she's like, I don't know, like a journalist or something. This chick right here. I'm subbed up to her on my other page, but shit. She seems the most legit when it comes to, talking to the D4VD situation. All right. Listen, like I said earlier, all right, we talking about D4VD, and I'm not gonna sit here and lie. This story is confusion. All right, people have been sending me videos nonstop, and every new piece makes it wilder. All right, if this man really did this murder, grooming, hiding a body, then why is he still walking free, guys? All right. Once again, he wasn't just a murderer; he was a predator, and yet no changes, no accountability, just cancel shows in silence. Nah, man, we not doing that. Like, what the fuck? I mean, my bad. What in the world is really going on? All right. Like, once again, as parents, we've got to be cops, detectives, inspector gadgets, all right, and investigators. All right. We got to be lawyers in our kids' lives. Like, we got to know what the hell is going on. Like, we can't let people, oh, no, man, listen, man, if you chastise your child, if you don't get hard on your child, you're going to end up. Because listen, as soon as motherfuckers, like, listen, I think I said that a little wrong. Let me put it like this. All right. As soon as you start getting hard on your child, motherfuckers start paying attention to you. Like if there isn't a motherfucker down the street over here abusing and mistreating and neglecting their child, but you over here trying to straighten your child up by chastising them or, how can I say, disciplining them. All right, without abusing them, without hurting them, without even beating them, because I've seen a lot of parents do this shit. But their way of disciplining and chastising is by getting a little hard on them, taking things away from them. But you don't see them lay hands or paws on them. All right, and shout out to them fathers out there, man, and them mothers out there. You got some single mothers out there that they'll look at a child the same way that some of them dads look at a child. Right, and they be like a 10, huh? Like I'm like, damn, what the fuck, mama? You must have gotten it from your daddy, man, because you got your kids on some boot camp type shit. All right. So shout out to those parents out there that ain't afraid, that, are not letting people put shit in their heads. All right. Like, no, we're not going to jail for disciplining our kids. As a parent, you have a right to sit here and chastise and discipline your child. Okay. Like, it's too much bullshit going on. All right. And I don't get tired of saying it. All right. The parents of this world, all right, like, listen, of America, all right, listen, and it happens all over the world. Fuck it. I don't know. I don't even know how to put this anymore. Shit. Parents all over the world. All right. Like, oh my God. Listen, if we don't discipline, all right, and chastise our kids, we create monsters. All right. We end up creating these monsters that walk these streets. All right. And then it's like a never ending cycle. Something that was happening before us and it's still happening now and it's going to continue to happen after us if we don't figure out how to stop this fucking cycle. All right. So, like I said, we got to be all of the above, all right, in our kids' lives, because the system clearly isn't built to protect them, us, all right? It isn't built to protect our pain. It's built to protect fame, money, and silence. So today we're going down the rabbit hole, all right? I've got two creators, like I said earlier, who've been keeping up with this case, and we're going to react to their videos, all right? One at a time. Today we're going to react to, what's her name? Well, I could have sworn, I think she's got 2 pages now. Because I'm on News Nation over here. Yep, I think she's got 2 pages. All right, so we're gonna be reacting to this page over here called News Nation. All right, why hasn't David been arrested? Timeline of Celeste Rivas Hernandez case, Banfield full episode. All right, so we're gonna get out of here of her talking about David. We're gonna skip every other little video that she got, and we're gonna react to that. And then when we're done with her videos, we're gonna jump into the other chicks' videos. All right. And see if we can get a better understanding of this. I don't want to react to everybody's videos because a lot of these videos seem like they're AI. All right, it seems like there's so many conspiracy theories out here, and I want to go with the most legit. All right, and so far, out of all the videos they sent me, she seems more legit. The other chick, and I think there's this other guy, but we're gonna react to them one at a time. All right, like let's see what's really going on, because we know that the world is a stage. All right. And I don't know, is it that, what's going on in front of our faces? Is it that our eyes playing illusions, or is the illusion out there to confuse us? Listen. All right. So, today we're going down this rabbit hole. And we're going to figure this thing out. Like, let's just play the video. And y'all let me know, y'all, give me your thoughts. Leave your comments down below. What do y'all think about the situation? Do y'all feel as though D4VD is guilty of what he is being accused of? Why do y'all believe that he is still walking? All right. There are some people out here that believe that he is being, set up. Do y'all believe that he's being set up? All right. Like, is there evidence out here that shows that he's being set up? Or, because damn, like, with the little, not a little, because there's a lot. Fuck me, man. It's just crazy. It's hard to put this into words together because there's so much being said. Like, I'm going to say with the little bit of clips that I've put together that I feel as though are legit, it don't seem good for him. Right? But you got people saying that there's 2 Celestes. All right. And I've said this before on one of my lives when I was just, talking about it and speaking about my book and my website. Right, it seems like they're saying that there's 2 Celestes, an older Celeste that could be like 23 years old, I think, if I'm not mistaken, maybe 25, I'm not sure. All right, or 20, I'm not sure. Listen, and then the Celeste, the one that's D4VD is being accused of unaliving. So let's dive down, this rabbit hole and see what's going on for ourselves, all right, with our own eyes. How big can I make this? This the biggest I can make it? Okay, but let's play. Let's see what's up with this John.
Hey everybody, welcome. It is Monday night and I have a lot to tell you about a singer named David. And if you didn't know him before, you might know him now. And if you don't know him now, you need to know who he is. He's an upcoming R&B singer. He spells his name kind of weird, D4VD, but he goes by David. And the reason he's making big headlines ain't because of his music. It's because of the dead body that was found in his Tesla. Not just any dead body, a teenage girl found rotting in the frunk of his Tesla. And since this happened, the number of coincidences that have been piling up between the singer, known as David, and the teenage girl, definitely identified as Celeste Rivas Hernandez, is uncanny. We've been adding to them every night, and tonight there are more, including really weird TikTok posts that he forwarded from other people showing meat being cut up, suggesting if a girlfriend did that, maybe this was what would happen. There's a lot of really strange stuff, and because there's so much information, tonight I have for you a full timeline of everything that has happened, when it's happened, and how it corresponds with ages. It's very important because, as we all know, it's not just a potential murder, it's also a potential underage sex crimes, because that girl in the trunk was a girl. She probably hadn't yet turned 15. And the timeline I'm going to tell you tonight takes her back to about age 12. You heard me. Got a great lineup for you. Not only are you going to hear from Charles from TMZ, who's got a lot of information, but also I've got a true...
I don't like going off of TMZ. I just think people use them because they be first at, especially if it has to do with, how can I say, celebrities and influencers, right? TMZ gonna be first at the crime scene. But I don't really like going off of them. I don't know. Something be off with TMZ. But let's hear.
Crime podcast panel who's going to lay all of this out. 12. You heard me. Got a great lineup for you. Not only are you going to hear from Charles from TMZ, who's got a lot of information, but also I've got a true crime podcast panel who's going to lay all of this out for you. Also, I've got new information on the death of that sailor, Angie Resendez. I mean, in any true crime, we can usually find out something, but because this is military justice and has been so under wraps, we have an insider who was actually in the hearing last week, and we found out a hell of a lot about the guy who's behind bars awaiting some kind of justice in this young woman's death. And as it turns out, this young man has some pretty bad skeletons. Again, victims of crime, not the criminals, the victims. And if the victims died, their family members. Death threats. I know you know what they found. The bad. I want to start here, though. It was 2 weeks ago today that the LAPD was called out to a towing yard because of a stench that was coming from the trunk of an impounded Tesla. I know you know what they found. The badly decomposed body of a 14-year-old girl who likely spent her 15th birthday the day before rotting in that trunk.
But wasn't according to the according to these articles and stuff like that, she was unalive days before her birthday, so she wasn't. I mean, technically, she was not 15 yet. All right, so let's put that out there. This is why I say, listen, I'll go with her because she's more legit, and she's not. I mean, I don't know if she's going by what these, But hey, look, listen, she seems a little more legit. She seems like, and it says News Nation. I don't know if she's really a news reporter. We'll find that out later. But compared to everybody else, shit. Listen, if she was unalive before her birthday, all right, technically she was still 14. She wasn't 15 yet. And I think they found her body, if I'm not mistaken, on her birthday. Or was it the day after her birthday? Listen, let's keep going.
The Tesla belonged to an up-and-coming R&B singer, a young guy who was away on a world tour at the time that body was found in his vehicle, but he's not away anymore. David, as he's known, has gone off the grid, radio silent, as disturbing connections to that teenage girl just...
Oh, so what a lot of these YouTubers are saying, a lot of these podcasters and bloggers are saying is it could be true. All right, so there's a possibility what these podcasters are saying that it is true that he went on a run. I thought it was bullshit. I was like, but if the cops didn't put that out there, right? How do these podcasters and these YouTubers know it, right? Because I don't see no actual police report saying that he's on the run. So my thing is, if a 13-year-old was found in a car linked to a pop star, why hasn't, the justice system moved? Like, could a solution be demand transparency, push for public records, autopsy reports, and investigative updates, pressure media outlets and, local officials to stop protecting celebrity status and start protecting victims more? How can we better advocate for the victims in situations like this to figure out what's really going on? Because as y'all can see, when it comes to the media, look, listen, it's kind of like we have to put these clues together ourselves, because I've heard people saying this for a while, but now the news are starting to say this. Now the news stations are starting to say this.
Just keep piling up. And now LA police have confirmed to our show that they are actively looking for more connections, aka evidence. A statement.
So is the FBI, the cops, using basically, what the YouTubers and TikTokers are saying as part of evidence to help them? I mean, not evidence. I don't know how to put it into words because I'm not a cop. I'm not a lawyer, right? Are they taking it into consideration and, putting that into their investigation and listening to the public? I wonder. Are they really listening to the public? Let me see what this says before she says anything. On September 17, 2025, detectives from Robbery Homicide Division served a search warrant on the 1300 block of the Honey Place in connection with the death of Celeste Rivas Hernandez. It was in connection? So they're trying to say there was robberies in that area the day that they found her body. But she was in that car decomposing for a while. Listen, this is weird. Something's not adding up right. I mean, listen, this isn't mathing.
Looking for more connections, aka evidence. A statement they sent to us begins by confirming the search that we told you about last week. Quote, on September 17th, 2025, detectives from Robbery Homicide Division served a search warrant on the 1300 block of Doheny Place in connection with the death of Celeste Rivas Hernandez. That is it. I mean, they're actually confirming it now, right? It goes on to say this. Several items of evidence were recovered and will be analyzed by detectives in the coming days. This is an ongoing investigation. Investigators are following up on several leads.
So while it's an ongoing investigation, I doubt they're going to tell the public what they're doing. But I'm a little curious to find out, what did y'all find? What did y'all recover from there? And what is y'all analyzing? You see where I'm coming from? Like, how is this shorty connected to this, upcoming uprising artist, right? Because according to a lot of people, right, that he had a girlfriend that was older, that looked just like her, that was named just like her. That's a little weird. I mean, could it be coincidence? Listen. Could he be set up like OJ, like some people are saying? Nah, listen. Or could he, some people are saying that, OJ sat here and got away with murder, right? Could he have did this and he ain't do it alone? Could it have taken a group of people? Because this right here, yo. But all them video cameras, the neighborhood that they was in, there was cameras everywhere. I know that there must have been a camera somewhere that caught somebody putting that body in the trunk. I don't know. Let's see.
End quote. Well, that's pretty, I don't know, stark, but it says what it needs to say and it doesn't go any further. For several months, neighbors say the aforementioned Tesla, where Celeste's remains were hidden in the frunk, had been parked out in front of a home where David was living. A home that was raided. The same home that was raided by the police. TMZ reports that the home had been rented by David's manager and that David had indeed been living there before he went on tour. TMZ also reports that detectives spent 12 hours looking for blood stains or blood evidence in that home. Very tight-lipped about whether they found it. And on the very day of that search, The rest of David's U.S. tour was canceled. And a few days after that, the global tour went away as well. Celeste Rivas Hernandez had been missing since April of 2024 when she was just 13 years old. 13! In April of that year, David had just turned 19. He's now 20. And in a moment, I am going to get to why age matters so much in this mystery. But first...
All right, so I don't know. People that know more about this case, correct me if I'm wrong. Was they dating when she was 13 and met when she was 11? Because they're saying that they met when she was 11. Is this the same girl that's with him in all those pictures that are surfacing throughout Google, TikTok, Snapchat, Instagram, Facebook, and places like that? Like, is this chick really the same chick that was with the bull, David? I mean, listen, if y'all not watching, just leave y'all comments down below, man. Let a shorty know and let's get the discussion started, right? Because if he is the person that did this, right, and if he wasn't by himself, because I don't think he did this by himself. I really don't think so. I don't know. I don't know. Something's telling me I don't think he did this by himself. I think he had help.
A vigil was held yesterday for Celeste in her hometown of Lake Elsinore, about 70 miles southeast of Los Angeles. Her brother Matthew says on the day she disappeared, she was on her way to see a movie with her boyfriend.
I keep hearing that.
Whose name was, you guessed it, say it with me, David. Before I go on, you should know this. There is no definitive proof at this point that the David Celeste was dating is the singer of the same name, nor is there concrete proof that a girl named Celeste that the singer appears to know is in fact the dead teenager named Celeste. But as I said days ago, police really hate coincidences. And tonight we know these coincidences were on full view as far back as October of 2022, when Celeste Rivas Hernandez was just 12. Let me repeat, 12 years old. At that time, David, the singer, was 17 and taking part in a group chat with his fans on Discord. And in the chat, he wrote, "Celeste in here?" To which someone named Celeste replied, "Hi, David, bark." The two seemed familiar with each other, which means if this really was Celeste Rivas Hernandez in the chat, whose birthday was September 7th, they may have actually connected when she was only 11. Fast forward, December 2023, a demo of a love song by David leaks out online, and the name of the demo song is Celeste. Days later, on January 11th, 2024, David appears on a live stream with a girl who looks an awful lot like Celeste Rivas Hernandez. The girl tells him, "We need to delete this." David tells the moderators, quote, "Mods, can we delete all vids? And then as soon as the stream ends, delete the stream too?" The following month, February 2024, Celeste Rivas Hernandez goes missing for the first time before returning home. February 26, 2024, David posts something on TikTok and another user comments, and I quote, "Waiting for LAPD to get your ass for messing with a 13-year-old girl." A month later, March 28th, 2024, David's fans discuss rumors.
Yo, this shit is wild. No, this is wild. Like, let's talk about it. All right, let's talk about the parents, because if she was 11, why was she unsupervised? Why was she out with a grown man named David and nobody caught that? Like, something's not adding up. I'm not blaming, I'm not questioning, because when a child disappears, we got to ask who was watching, who missed the signs, who ignored the red flags. As parents, we're not just caregivers, all right? We're supposed to be investigators and inspectors, all right? Protectors. If your kid got matching tattoos with a pop star, if they're sneaking out, if they're texting grown men, you better be on it, because predators don't wait. They groom, they manipulate, they move in silence. So yeah, I'm asking, where were the parents? What systems failed? And how do we make sure this doesn't happen again? Okay?
Incidences were on full view as far back as October of 2022, when Celeste Rivas Hernandez was just 12. Let me repeat, 12 years old. At that time, David, the singer, was 17 and taking part in a group chat with his fans on Discord. And in the chat, he wrote,
that right there would be statutory rape. People don't even peep that part. That's considered statutory rape. So what happened? Like, the parents could have said something. Like, this is wild.
An up-and-coming R&B singer, a young guy who was away on a world tour at the time that that body was found in his vehicle, but he's not away anymore. David, as he's known, has gone off the grid, radio silent, as disturbing connections to that teenage girl just keep piling up. And now LA police have confirmed to our show that they are actively looking for more connections, aka evidence. A statement they sent to us begins by confirming the search that we told you about last week. Quote, on September 17th, 2025, detectives from Robbery Homicide Division served a search warrant on the 1300 block of Doheny Place in connection with the death of Celeste Rivas Hernandez. That is it. I mean, they're actually confirming it now, right? It goes on to say this. Several items of evidence were recovered and will be analyzed by detectives in the coming days. This is an ongoing investigation. Investigators are following up on several leads, end quote. Well, that's pretty, I don't know, stark, but it says what it needs to say and it doesn't go any further. For several months, neighbors say the aforementioned Tesla, where Celeste's remains were hidden in the frunk, had been parked out in front of a home where David was living, a home that was raided, the same home that was raided by the police. TMZ reports that the home had been rented by David's manager and that David had indeed been living there before he went on tour. TMZ also reports that detectives spent 12 hours looking for blood stains or blood evidence in that home, very tight-lipped about whether they found it. And on the very day of that search, the rest of David's U.S. tour was canceled. And a few days after that, the global tour went away as well. Celeste Rivas Hernandez had been missing since April of 2024 when she was just 13 years old. 13! In April of that year, David had just turned 19. He's now 20. And in a moment, I am going to get to why age matters so much in this mystery. But first, a vigil was held yesterday for Celeste in her hometown of Lake Elsinore, about 70 miles southeast of Los Angeles. Her brother Matthew says on the day she disappeared, she was on her way to see a movie with her boyfriend, whose name was, you guessed it, say it with me, David. Before I go on, you should know this. There is no definitive proof at this point that the David Celeste was dating is the singer of the same name, nor is there concrete proof that a girl named Celeste that the singer appears to know is in fact the dead teenager named Celeste. But as I said days ago, police really hate coincidences. And tonight we know these coincidences were on full view as far back as October of 2022, when Celeste Rivas Hernandez was just 12. Let me repeat, 12 years old. At that time, David, the singer, was 17 and taking part in a group chat with his fans on Discord. And in the chat, he wrote, "Celeste in here?" To which someone named Celeste replied, "Hi, David, bark." The two seemed familiar with each other, which means if this really was Celeste Rivas Hernandez in the chat, whose birthday was September 7th, they may have actually connected when she was only 11. Fast forward, December 2023, a demo of a love song by David leaks out online, and the name of the demo song is Celeste. Days later, on January 11th, 2024, David appears on a live stream with a girl who looks an awful lot like Celeste Rivas Hernandez. The girl tells him, "We need to delete this." David tells the moderators, quote, "Mods, can we delete all vids? And then as soon as the stream ends, delete the stream too?" The following month, February 2024, Celeste Rivas Hernandez goes missing for the first time before returning home. February 26, 2024, David posts something on TikTok and another user comments, and I quote, "Waiting for LAPD to get your ass for messing with a 13-year-old girl." A month later, March 28th, 2024, David's fans discuss rumors that he's dating someone, and one of the fans writes, "Yeah, her name is Celeste." April 5th, 2024, Celeste Rivas Hernandez is reported missing. Her brother says she was going to the movies that day with someone named David. Almost 3 months later, June 27th, 2024, David reposts a TikTok video of someone chopping up meat. The caption reads, quote, "Me if I see her talk with other dudes." Skip ahead to February 2025. The music video for David's song, "One More Dance," is released, and it features a body being dragged and put into the trunk of a car. David plays both the killer and the victim in the video. 1 month later, March 2025, David releases his Withered album. 5 months later, August 5th, 2025, David starts his world tour.
Yo, what in the world? Hold up. Wait a minute. What in the world is going on, man? Let's talk about the silence, because how did the parents not notice the changes? Friends saw it, social media subscribers saw it, people were sending complaints to authorities and still nothing happened. That's not just negligence, yo. That's a system ignoring the warning signs. You got Discord chats allegedly from when she was 12 and he was 17. You got a demo song with her name in it. You got lyrics that matched the timeline. You got fans screaming for answers, and what do we get? A character tour. A character tour. Like, yo, what the fuck? Like, we get a character, a cancer tour, and that's it. Like, let me say this loud, all right? Age ain't nothing but a number when you're grooming a child, huh? In this situation, age is everything. All right? I don't know why people think that age ain't nothing but a number. Look at it. Look at it. Age in these situations matter. All right? Age ain't nothing but a number. Huh. But what happens when you're grooming a child? Once again, in this situation, it's everything, all right? It's the difference between consent and coercion, between love and manipulation, between freedom and a felony. Come on, let's be real. I keep hearing so many people, especially here on social media, and it's crazy, right? Because you know what gets on my nerves, what gets me so heated up, and I just log off, because when you say something, motherfuckers get all up in their emotions, like, you hurt their little fucking ego, like you just punched and karate chopped that shit, right? And they turn into little fucking angel demon hybrids on this bitch, right? And they start snapping on you. But motherfuckers, you fucking sitting here cuddling groomers, predators, and pedophiles out here. You know what I get? Like, yo, listen, I'm not mad. I just like, yo, boy, like, listen, man. People on this joint don't realize that out here in the real streets, man, justice is a little different. Like, boy, ain't no sugarcoating, how can I say, cuddling these motherfuckers on these things, man. Like, yo, listen, man, I sat here and witnessed, right? And when I said something about it, when it was actually happening here, right, especially in these chats of people that I've known, right, there was a whole motherfucking pedophile in that shit. Oh, Ray, you don't know what you talking about. You just in your emotions. Da 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 da. They want to break my past, throw that shit in my face. Boom. I stay quiet. I let time pass. And boom, that shit exploded in people's faces, yo. And shout out to the ones that kept bringing awareness to that shit, because there was people that saw it. But yo, they got dragged so bad. And it's crazy and it's fucked up how I had to sit here and see that shit. I'm sitting here like, yo, social media is not like these streets. You got motherfuckers on these fucking apps, right? Not just the predators, but then you got the motherfuckers that want to cuddle, cradle, and protect these mofos on these apps, all right? Which is the sickest shit that I've ever seen. Like, if we don't see enough of that shit happening in the goddamn industry, age ain't nothing but a number. But what happens when you're grooming a child? All right, that's the correct way of saying it. I probably messed up a little earlier, but shit. Once again, all right, in this situation, age is everything. It's the difference between consent, coercion, between love and manipulation, between freedom and a felony, all right? So I'm asking, how much proof do they need? Because if this was Celeste and they knew each other and the lyrics matched the evidence, then what are we waiting for? Why is he still walking? This ain't just about one artist. It's about the system that protects fame over facts. It's about a culture that ignores the red flags until it's too late. And it's about us parents who, creators, advocates, saying enough is enough. We're not just reacting, we're building awareness. We're building a legacy, all right? And if the system won't put predators away, hey, we'll find a way. So they will.
And 1 month later, on September 3rd, 2025, neighbors in the Hollywood Hills, near to where David had been staying, noticed the singer's Tesla abandoned on the side of the road. 3 days later, September 6th, the car is towed to an impound lot. The very next day, September 7th, is Celeste's 15th birthday. But one day after that, September 8th, workers at the impound lot call police because of a terrible stench coming from the Tesla that had just been towed there. Police open the trunk and discover the badly decomposed remains of Celeste Riva Hernandez. She's wrapped in plastic. This Celeste has the same tattoo on her right index finger as the singer David does. It reads,
Celeste?
Shh. Now, much of what we have known about this case for 2 weeks, and many of the facts in that timeline.
I gotta go back. She said this Celeste. So that right there throws me to, the people, and they're saying is what people are saying on social media is conspiracy theories, right? And they are theories until, it's proven to be legit, to be factual, right? But she said this Celeste. So how many Celeste that this man have in his life that, resembled each other and have the same name?
They were first reported by TMZ, who have been digging on this case every single day. And earlier, I caught up with TMZ's executive producer, Charles Latibaudiere. Here's our conversation about the case.
I'm always curious when it comes to a vigil for someone who is a victim of a violent end. And for all we know, I don't know how Celeste died, but she was certainly treated horrendously in death. I always wonder if the killers show up at the vigils. Did you see, or do you know of any evidence of police who were at that vigil, or maybe even undercover officers just watching to see who showed up?
There were police officers there, but as far as a presence that made you think they were watching, there wasn't anything obvious that I saw in the video, but they could have been there. And we know that that is an MO, that's not just something you see in movies and stuff. Like, it really does happen. So
Scott Peterson.
Yeah, exactly. So, the police detectives, I'm sure, I would think, are aware of that, and that maybe they did have people there. I mean, that's a really good point, Ashley, and maybe they did. But again, there's been not only no arrest, there's no named person of interest, and no named suspect, which doesn't mean the police don't have a suspect.
Right.
This means they're
Close
not
to the vest.
Yeah, they're just not willing to share it with us yet.
I'm looking at other things, and so are people online, and I know TMZ is as well. His posts are really starting to stand out. Like, he reposted someone who was cutting up meat and said, quote, Me, if I see her talk with other dudes. Now, he didn't write that, but he reposted it from someone else. And it clearly shows he would either cut up the person the girl was talking to or he'd cut up the girl. That was sent before, obviously, Celeste was found murdered. But then there's another one of him washing his sneakers that she'd been photographed in. These are all, again, by themselves, not much. Together, they're forming a picture.
Yeah, you know, we're talking today about the lyrics, and you know, we've talked about romantic homicide, and those images that you're just talking about, all sort of paint an image of an artist, right? Like clearly, the best case scenario, you could look at that and say, this is just an image, a very macabre image he wanted to have out there for himself as an artist. But in light of what has happened now, it's impossible to not look at those things through a different lens. Now, that's maybe unfair to him as far as legally speaking, because again, he's not a suspect. But when his car, at the very least, we can say his car is connected to this crime. And now you start looking at all these things. It's hard not to look at it and go, what's going on there?
You know, uncomfortable. It's, I mean, not only that,
uncomfortable.
Charles, you know, he is apparently, you know, he'd been selling these blood spattered T-shirts.
Blood splattered shirts, yeah.
Yeah, a casket on the stage, part of the act. Then there's music video with a body being put into a trunk. Again, none of it would stand up in a court of law, but looking at all of these things together, it does give you a picture of somebody whose mind works a little differently.
That is wild. Like, would a killer? Let me ask y'all a question. Do y'all believe that a killer would show up at a visual? Would a killer show up in a visual? Like, sometimes they do, sometimes they hide in plain sight. If someone's bold enough to pose to perform and profit while a child's missing, that's not just outrageous, that's audacity. And if the visuals, lyrics, and timelines line up with the real world evidence, that's not art. That's a breadcrumb trail, all right? How do they not have suspects? How can I say, do they just, okay, this case is just crazy. Like, they do or they don't. Like, they just won't say it when fans, friends, and social media users are doing more detective work than the authorities. That's a system failing on every level. Like, if the body was found in a car linked to him, if there are Discord chats, tattoos, and timelines, then silence is protection. Isn't protection, my bad. It's complicity. And right now, everything is being kept in the dark. Why? Like, do his lyrics and videos implicate D4VD at all? Like, they might. Allegedly, some lyrics reference names and ages, right? And the emotional states that match that case. But if you're writing songs that mirror real trauma and you're connected to the victim, that's not coincidence. That's a clue. And if the videos show patterns, symbols, or coded references, that's not just creative expression. That's evidence waiting to be unpacked. I mean, if they was able to use, you know, Young Thug and all these other artists' videos and lyrics, right, against them, why can't they do the same with him? Because I seen a lawyer on someone's panel say, oh, you know, that's evidence not going to be used against him because it's his art. Now we're going to go against everybody's art. Then shit, y'all went towards a lot of people's art, right? Especially in the rap community. Oh, because he's not rapping? He's just into this emo world? He's a little more poetic? That's why? Once again, right? If you're writing songs that mirror real trauma and you're connected to the victim, that's not coincidence. That's a clue. And if videos show pattern symbols or coded references, that's not just creative expression, all right? That's evidence waiting to be unpacked. Why isn't he a suspect with all this evidence? Because fame buys silence, I feel as though, like, because the system protects profit over people. That's my opinion. Because too many folks are afraid to call it what it is. I think a lot are. This hits more towards the political side, the media. Why stay quiet? We know a lot of these media outlets know the truth, man. They got the fucking paperwork in their hands. Huh. I think the main thing is because too many folks are afraid to call it what it is, but we know who those folks are, all right? I'm not speaking about everybody. I'm just speaking in general, all right? Predatory behavior wrapped in a pop star package. But we're not afraid, all right? We're asking the hard questions loudly. I'm not gonna be on this joint screaming and shouting because I got kids in my crib, but shit. Like, I'm really trying to understand this story. I'm here as calm, cool, and collective as I could be. All right. Like, things not mathing. Like, what role do the parents play? All right. For me, I feel as though it should be a critical one. Because if she was 11, why was she unsupervised? Why didn't they catch the change in behavior? The secret chats, the tattoos. If friends and followers say it, why didn't the parents? This isn't blame, it's accountability. Because when a child disappears, every adult in their orbit needs to answer for what they missed. Let's continue. Let me get out of my head, all right? My bad. This is not, afternoon thoughts, straight from a shorty's mind. My bad. Right? What is you thinking, Ray? Come on. Let's get back on topic.
Definitely works a little differently. But on the other hand, you would say, I'm sure his attorney would say to you, that's his art, right? And you can't prosecute someone or arrest someone based on their art.
It's true. He hasn't been accused of anything. He hasn't been named as a person of interest in this particular case. It just happens to be that it's his car where the body was found, and it's his home that they raided, and that tells us a lot. Like, even when Diddy was in limbo, we talked about the fact that they'd raided 2 of Diddy's homes. I think an arrest might be imminent, and what do you know? I do want to ask you, though, about the sales of his records and the streams. None of this has affected him in a bad way.
No, I mean, as far as his music career goes, it sounds really weird and macabre to say, but it's helped. It has helped put David on the radar screen of listeners around the country. His album just.
And that's what I'm saying. Like, how is this, like, instead of like, okay, music tours are canceled and shit like that, right? I get that. But how is it that in the midst of this, he's becoming more popular? Because listen, believe it or not, before this, they say that, listen. I don't care what nobody says, all right? Or how anybody feels. How was he so legendary? How was he so famous? Right? Oh, the whole world knew about him. He was an upcoming rising star. Okay, I get that shit. Those that were probably in the game world know who the fuck he was, because he was trying to become a professional, Fortnite player from what I've, from my research. All right. But he was not known worldwide. All right. He is not a fucking Cardi B. He's not a goddamn Ice Cube. Like, he's not fucking Tupac. He sure as hell is not a Kai Cenat, and I Show Speed. He wasn't one of them. See, everybody, I mean, I could literally sit here and say, God damn, everywhere I go, motherfuckers is talking about them. He ain't no goddamn Kevin Gates. No Cat Williams. He ain't an athlete. He ain't a movie star. He's not famous like that. So they say they canceled everything. Well, shouldn't his music have been stopped too? Like they, tried to do with all these other celebrities? Oh, my bad. They couldn't do it either. People still listening to their music. Durr. Obviously, he's going to become famous. He's what everybody is talking about right now.
Re-entered the Billboard 200, which is the album charts. And that would not have happened without all of this attention and people, listening to like, oh, who is David? And actually we do a lot of talkbacks with our affiliates around the country here, and I've had the question asked several times with people going like, "Huh, I didn't know about this. Didn't know about his music, and I've been listening to it now." And that's exactly what's happening. His streams, his song "Romantic Homicide" had its biggest week ever streaming on Spotify last week. So people are listening. They are checking out his music.
To that end, can I just ask you about all of the chatter online about, and I think this is important, about the age of Celeste, who I say did not make her 15th birthday. No way. You're not that decomposed one day after your birthday.
She said it.
She was 14 when
she said it. I'm glad she said it, because a lot of people keep saying, well, you know, he killed her on her 15th birthday. No, she didn't make it to her 15th birthday. Unfortunately, this young lady did not make it to see her 15th birthday, okay? May she rest in peace. May she have peace in paradise.
He was, well, either died or was killed.
Right.
And as we go back in time, we have the possibility of them having chatted or met online at age 12. Why is there not more attention being paid to that? Or maybe legally speaking, is there?
Legally speaking, that may, depending on what they're finding, it could end up being, you know, something that is one of the charges if he were to be arrested. But people are paying attention to that. And I know I think there's not as much talk in the media about it because we just don't know if he's even the suspect, right? We don't know.
Sure.
Yes, his car is connected, but that's really all we know for certain at this point. So maybe people aren't getting to that point, but you're right. Online, people are taking notice of that. You know, we saw a TikTok that David had posted last year, and one of the comments on the TikTok, and this comment was from February this year, earlier this year. So before anybody, you know, before this happened to Celeste, before anybody was connecting his car to this, before that even happened, the comment said, "Waiting for LAPD to come grab your ass for talking to a 13-year-old or something about
waiting for LAPD to get your ass for messing with a 13-year-old girl."
Right. So somebody there was already putting those pieces together long before the world knew about Celeste. Clearly, people knew about David at that point. And I think his fans were aware that he was spending time, whatever their relationship was, with this young girl.
Again, that's Charles Ladabodier from.
So before he became a murderer, right, allegedly, right, we're going to say allegedly because they don't, you know, they're saying he's innocent until proven guilty. Before he became a murderer, all right, he was a predator. And this is where I say, where were the parents? All right. I heard a YouTuber talking about, right, about the parent situation, right? And they made a good point, right? Where was the parents? Why weren't these social medias, you know, platforms, once the, you know, users were making complaints, why didn't, you know, the red flags get risen? Why didn't they do something at the moment? All right. Because the warning signs were loud but ignored. Fans and followers were posting concerns, tagging authorities, and sharing receipts. Creators were making breakdown videos, connecting dots, and asking real questions. But unless someone with power listens, awareness doesn't equal action. Why wasn't something done? All right. I want y'all to pay attention. Listen carefully to what I'm saying. All right. Something is off in this situation. Something's not adding. All right. Math ain't mathing in this shit. All right, because jurisdictional gasp, all right, the judicial system, all right, gasp, if the crime spans states or, you know, how can I say, if the crime spans states or countries, it gets messy fast. I hope y'all understand, because I'm trying to read y'all the little, you know, listen, this is right there. Like, these are laws. Like, there's penal codes to everything. Like, and it's crazy. Like, sometimes I wonder, like, is this, you know, some type of celebrity protection? Like, fame creates a shield. Labels, lawyers, and PR teams know how to stall investigations. Like, It shows nothing more than just a systemic, failure. Authorities often wait for official reports, even when the internet is screaming. You got motherfuckers out here pointing what's real. Like, look, this is happening. Like, look, I show you. Look carefully. Like that video where they keep saying that girl doesn't look like the girl that's, missing. Right? Celeste Rivers. They're saying that that's his current girlfriend. But then I seen a video where they're trying to say that this girl looks like Celeste Rivers, right? But this shorty right here with the braids and the glasses, right, has a tattoo on the back of her neck. And I don't think Celeste Rivers has that. All right? So the two girls in two different streams look alike, but there's a difference, especially in the face, no matter how much of a hoodie she try to put on. But they're two different girls. I mean, listen, this shit is crazy. What needs to change? Like, digital complaints must be taken seriously. If hundreds of users flag a predator, that's not noise, all right? It's evidence. Law enforcement needs to, how can I say, teach literacy. They should be trained to investigate online behavior, not dismiss it. We need accountability from platforms, all right? If Discord, YouTube, or TikTok hosts grooming behaviors, all right? If YouTubers, all right, Discord members, or TikTokers, all right, host, how can I say, show explicit behavior like grooming behavior, all right? They should be a part of the solution, not just the silence, all right? The motherfuckers, the CEOs, all right? Let me not just read off the notes. All right, let me put it like this, all right? If you see TikTokers and YouTubers, all right, or subscribers or content creators that are exhibiting these type of behaviors, and you are a content creator or, somebody that owns this platform, all right? Because I know some way, somehow that the person that owns the platform, once something goes viral, it gets to them. All right. The person that owns the platform should be able to, how can I say, do something to, raise a red flag towards this person that all these users from social media, right? The whole goddamn world is complaining about. And then the authorities should take action somehow, some way. All right. We need accountability from platforms too. Fuck. I had to break it down because I keep forgetting that some people don't understand it. And if you just read off some notes, right, and then, try to. This case is crazy. Like, it's like no matter how I'm looking at it, it's wild. What's the secret? Why are they holding so much back? And why are they confusing not just the fans, but the people that are just learning about this or have been learning about this? Are they hoaxing us? Because why is there two Celestes? And if he did do this, right? Because it seems like he did. I think he had help. I really do think he had help.
TMZ. I now want to bring in three people who have been following this story from the very beginning. Lauren Conlon is the host of the true crime podcast, The Outlier, and Pop Crime TV on YouTube. Pascal hosts the very popular online show, The Pascal Show.
Here's another one I want to review and react to.
And journalist Shagun Oduloluwu is also with us tonight. All right, I'm going to start with you, Lauren, if I can. David has not been arrested, and I think a lot of people are sort of astounded that there hasn't been movement. I think I went off the air on Friday and might have been a podcast afterwards saying I expect an arrest pretty soon. What are your thoughts on this, and what's the general consensus?
Yes, I agree with you, Ashley, but at this point, I am thinking there is so much evidence to parse through. I mean, in terms of the fact that they searched his house for, 8 to 10 hours, that's going to take time, DNA, possible blood. And then you have David, who has admittedly said that his entire life is online. I mean, this guy is all over TikTok. He's all over Discord. He's all over Reddit. I mean, they are going through his devices, Ashley. They are going through his text messages, his emails, everything and anything they can find, and that takes time. Additionally, the internet sleuths have dug up so many photos, so many videos, and police are paying attention to that. But they also have to make sure everything is authenticated here, right? That everything is real. So I am hopeful that we'll see some movement this week.
Yeah, well, if anybody out there is fabricating videos with AI and sending them to the police, they're going to have a knock on their door. It's called obstruction of justice and filing false reports, etc. All right, so Pascal.
That's why I'm not reacting to every video that I was sent, because some of them don't, I don't know, some of them just seem very AI-ish.
Something that Lauren just mentioned struck me, and that is that people have been finding things online, including video of David cleaning a pair of shoes, the same shoes that Celeste was seen wearing in other images.
You have it?
Yeah, the internet sleuths will always be undefeated. And let me just say that really quick. Yes, they did find some videos of him, or one video of him actually cleaning a litany of different shoes, and at the very end he started washing these Jordans that apparently she's wearing in some photos. Now, a lot of people are wondering, is that him? Are we watching him live getting rid of evidence to a crime, or is he just simply cleaning some shoes? I think a lot of people are wondering a lot of this, and
we're going to see that video when we go down the rabbit hole with the chick. I think her name is Down the Rabbit Hole something. I forgot what her name was. But we're going to get to that video next, all right? And I think that'll be either tonight or tomorrow, okay? And it most likely might be tonight, all right? Because, listen, when I get into these little type of topics, all right, I really want to get a better understanding to these situations. And I feel as though that these cases, these type of, topics need to get, awareness brought onto.
Again, man, the connections to everything has just been out of this world.
Yeah, Shagun, I have a hard time believing that anybody would commit some terrible crime and then go online to show the aftermath. I just can't imagine it. I think it's more fascinating that it's the similar pair of shoes, like just yet another connection between this girl and this singer. But Shagun, that's really the issue at this point. What kind of actual connections are being made other than she disappeared after she went to a movie with someone named David, and a teacher who said, I had a student named Celeste. Like, has anybody been able to make a hardcore connection to a romantic relationship between these two? Because you know what that means. Then it's not just a murder investigation or a suspicious death. It's also child sex crimes.
Well, Ashley, you bring up a really good point. And let's, with what Lauren said and what Pascal said, let's keep it at its most simplest level.
That's what I was saying. Before he became a murderer, this man was a pedophile, and people don't even understand. And he was using social media as his playground. Real shit.
Tattoos are problematic, that they have matching tattoos, or the body found in the trunk of the car and the singer David have that same tattooed on their fingers. That's problematic. The point you brought up, Ashley, of someone going online and, wearing the same shoes. We saw O.J. Simpson write a book that said, I didn't do it, but if I did, here's how I would have done it. So people are dumb, usually criminals. That's why they get caught. They do something stupid. And this guy is doing songs and making videos where he's hacking up meat and songs to her with her name in it. So if we put it at its basis level, I need him to be questioned, because why is this underage girl in the trunk of your car? Why is this car at the house that your manager rented for you?
Thank
Why do you, at the age that you might have met her, how did your paths cross? And as we're looking at all of that, because as journalists, we look for the what happened and when did you know it?
Boom. Okay, look, listen. That right there, yes, that's some real journalism. Like that right there, yes, that's how we all should be. That's what I'm saying. But not everybody out here is doing that. It's like a lot of people are coming up with their own conclusions. And what's crazy is there's enough evidence out there that you can come up with your own conclusion. You see where I'm coming from? But it is so much, right? And I want to bring about something, right? Him saying this, right? What if, but it can't be at all. Right? It's the way he's saying it makes more sense, because it's crazy as shit that he made all these songs, right? And they were for Celeste, right? Then a girl named Celeste pops up unalived in the front of his Tesla, in the front trunk of his Tesla. Like this shit is crazy. But then let's not forget that he's allegedly dating a Celeste lookalike. Like his name's Celeste. This is wild. But everything that this journalist is saying right here is factual. So factual. And I wish people understood that.
So if we put it at its basis level, I need him to be questioned because why is this underage girl in the trunk of your car?
Finally,
why is this
saying it.
car at the house that your manager rented for
Facts.
you? Why do you, at the age that you might have met her, how did your paths cross? And as we're looking at all of that, because as journalists, we look for the what happened and when did you know it? I need a conversation with her parents because I need to know how a girl this young was making her way from Lake Elsinore all the way to the Hollywood Hills and disappearing for days at a time only to come back. And all of the discord and online knew, but her family is not involved. We agree there are a lot of questions, but some of these answers can happen if we put a microphone in front of people and start asking, what did you know and when did you know it?
I want to know if he's been brought in for questioning or if he has invoked his right to the fifth.
Exactly.
That has happened so much, but I have to.
I'm glad she said that. I want to know the same thing. Is he in? Like, is he in? Is they interrogating him? Like, is they really like talking to him? Because we don't know nothing about him except for that he's fled his apartment. This, yada yada yada. According to a lot of YouTubers, podcasters. All right. A lot of them are saying that he's behind bars, that he's already in court. Is it true? All right. So listen, there's more updates. All right. That's why I said I might do another live tonight. Like, because listen, and we're gonna go in between these, these few little content creators. And I think I'm gonna do I want to do one live or two with Pascal in between with his updates.
Throw in a quick break here. Guys, don't go anywhere because I have a lot more questions for you, especially about the sex crimes part. Murder aside, was someone doing something illegal with an underage girl as young as 11, a girl who ended up dead? Are police investigating that part of the story too? The potential of child sex crimes. We're going to dig into that with the panel next. Isn't it surprising that we're not hearing anything at all about the investigation into a possible sex crime, given there seems to be ample evidence just online that these two met a long time ago?
Yes, that was my first thought, because normally we see, police arresting their suspect on something else in order to hold them. And this has not been the case. But something I keep thinking about here is that police really do need tangible evidence that they were in a sexual relationship. I mean, you said it though, at this point, her mother has confirmed she had a boyfriend named David. Her brother confirmed it. We've seen a lot online, but I go back to this. I really do believe that police, law enforcement are sifting through all of his devices to confirm this. And something else, Ashley, that I've kind of been asking myself as well is how many people knew about this? How many people either looked the other way or were possibly complicit in their alleged relationship? Because I mean, even the teacher, that video of her teacher saying that he knew.
Blessings, Joanne Williams. Welcome to the live.
That she was talking to the singer David, and also that video or a photo, of David appearing in a parking lot that's right by Celeste's home, right by her school. He appears to be talking with another student. And listen, the rumor mill is going wild about that photo because now there are allegations that people did know, but they were being paid off. And those are completely unfounded. But I just wanted to point out what was going on in the rumor mill. So yeah, I have a lot.
Oh, my bad. Let me let her finish.
Well, there hasn't been an arrest yet on, the fact that he could have been committing statutory rape.
Facts. That's some real shit right there. I had to let her finish. That was so rude of me of cutting her off, right? I don't know why I just did that. But I just was agreeing with her that, like, I was about to just interject, but it's best to let her finish, all right? Because this isn't just about David, all right? It's about the silence that surrounds him, all right? A girl is gone, a body found, a name whispered in lyrics, a tattoo matched, and yet no charges, no suspects, no answers, just confusion, cancellation, and cover-ups. All right, but here's what they don't want us to say out loud. Predators don't always hide, sometimes they perform. Evidence doesn't always come in court documents. Sometimes it's in Discord chats, demo tracks, and timelines. Sometimes they can come into, Fortnite chats, Roblox chats, Minecraft chats, all right? YouTube chats, Facebook chats, Instagram chats, all right? Justice doesn't always fail. Sometimes it never even shows up. We saw the red flags. Fans saw them. Friends saw them. Social media saw them. But the system is blinked. It stalled. It protected the wrong person. And while the headlines fade, all right, we're still here asking the questions they don't touch. They don't want to touch or won't touch. All right. Why was an 11-year-old unsupervised? Why did fans have to play detective? Why do lyrics sound like confessions? And why does the fame, okay, my bad. Why does fame keep people walking, all right, when they should be answering? This isn't just a reaction, all right? It's a reckoning. We're not here to, speculate, all right? We're here to build awareness, demand accountability, and protect the next child before it's too late. Because if the system won't put predators away, we will, with truth, with clarity, with hashtag, all right? Because listen, on some real shit, look listen, I gotta get my shirt. All right, I got my little heat press here. I'm about to go tell my baby pops I need to go do some hoodie shopping. All right, because instead of doing this through the the third companies, all right, we're gonna do our shirts right here. All right, I got my own hashtags. All right, hashtag we building caskets in this John. All right, hashtag let's put away all predators. All right, hashtag no more silence. All right, hashtag all right, silence means compliance. We're not. How can I say we're not sitting here sugarcoating, covering up this bullshit? All right, we're exposing it. And for the predators, we build caskets up in this bitch.
I will also say this. A teacher is different than the rest of us. They actually do have a duty to report. It doesn't seem to me that that particular teacher who was online knew anything more than this girl had met a person on social media. It falls on the parents at that point to really find out what their kids are doing. And if they don't come home for the night, get after it, do something about it. But it's certainly not up to the teacher to do that. Pascal, jump into that, by the way. The ages. I know I just read the whole timeline, but it's so overwhelming to even me. Remind us about when they first met and what the ages we're talking about here are.
Well, what we understand is they apparently were talking around the time that David was actually 17 or 18 and Celeste was around 12 years old. There is speculation that maybe they started sending flirtatious text messages or DMs for her as young as 11 years old. But that's still speculation right now.
Well, 11 would be just unbearable. 12 isn't any better, and 13 is awful as well. But I do think about that little moment in the chat room, Celeste in here, and that was so early in the fall that it seemed when she answered Bark that there was a familiarity there, that they may have known each other before. And she,
That's what
of course, her birthday's September 7th, so she would have been 11 just a few weeks prior to that. Shagun, missing multiple times.
See, her birthday was September 7th, and when did they find her body? On the 8th? I think it was on the 8th when they found her body, if I'm not mistaken. They found her body the day after her birthday. So once again, unless she was unalived on her birthday, she made it to see her 15th birthday. But no, that's not the facts here. All right, she was unalived way before her birthday. So she didn't even make it to 15. This man was a pedophile before he was a goddamn murderer. The question is, did it escalate? Did he have an obsession with her? Like, if all this, right, is not allegedly and it is true, was this an obsession, gone wrong? Really wrong? Because, a lot of obsessions turn very violent. And in his songs, it seemed like he was obsessed with Celeste. All right, I've even seen, I'm not sure if it was a Discord or if it was, a regular chat, right, that somebody uploaded, saying that about her wanting to go back to, her mom and her dad, and, he didn't want to take her back, something like that. I know that I read it. I'm not sure if it was, a Discord chat or something like that, or if it was like a something in TikTok that they were writing. But this case just gets wilder and wilder. Like, yo, man, we building caskets in this joint.
And it's possible that the police brought her back. That's what the teacher says. We're not sure if that's what happened, but when she went missing in February the first time, only to be brought back, then to go missing again in April, that it might have been the police who brought her back the first time, which, if that's true, I don't know if you agree with me, it would be insanity that this girl was missing for a year and a half in the very place that she was likely brought back from prior.
Yeah, Ashley, this is the thing that kind of boggles my mind. And again, I don't want to be the hardcore cold journalist that puts a microphone in the faces of the parents. But if your girl, if anyone understands that Lake Elsinore is 78 miles away from Hollywood, how at that age is she getting back and forth to go see this guy, David? Because the Ubers are going to be in the hundreds of dollars. So where was the money coming from? How was she getting back and forth? And if she disappeared and came back, how are you as parents not sending her away to live with relatives? How are you not keeping a closer eye on her? How are you not asking the questions? Who's your boyfriend, David? Where did you go? What happened? Let's get to the bottom of this. This is not to say that they didn't, but again, all of this is way too coincidental for him to have a song about Celeste, Discord to know about it. She's found in the trunk of his car. She's 78 miles away. They're saying she's disappeared before.
Man, the mom has to know something, because she said, oh, she knows about her having a boyfriend named David, right? According to the reports and stuff like that, right? I'm not gonna say police reports. I'm saying the reports. So according to the reports, the mom said that she, knew that she had a boyfriend named David, but she wasn't sure. You wasn't checking her messages. You wasn't checking her emails. You wasn't checking her chats. None of that. Like, what was you doing as a parent? I mean, listen, if your child don't get mad at you because you're being a detective, right, and Inspector Gadget, how can I say, a cop, a lawyer in their life, then you're not doing your job. Obviously, they're going to get mad. All kids get mad, man. We was them at one point, man. We didn't want to hear that shit. But at one point in time, one point in life, right, that message, right, that chastising, whatever it is that you're giving that child, right, in the back of their head, it comes out, boom, it comes, they hear it when they need to. Probably not at that moment. Man, all kids is hard-headed, yo. But that don't mean that you don't be a parent, or because your child's always angry, you're just gonna give up. I don't know if that was the situation, but I do know that's a lot of situations where parents are in, all right? Not everywhere, all right? I'm just speaking in general. That doesn't mean that it's everybody, all right? But shit, man. But if the shoe fits, wear that bitch, man. And if it doesn't apply, let it fly. But let's continue.
All of those things, unfortunately, means that no one's hands are clean in this. And I don't think when we get to the bottom of it, we're going to like the answers that we get.
Facts.
A young girl was dismembered. To do that, that's not a crime of passion. That's wickedness, right? This isn't like, oh, something happened, we put her in the trunk. They took the time to dismember her, to put her in the trunk, to then go on tour. If it all points eventually, as the evidence starts to look at this singer, David, we really need to wonder how this person has been operating through social media and contacting her. Like, this is very bothersome.
Facts. All facts. And I'm glad he said it like that, because we need to start bringing more awareness to this. I don't get tired of saying it. These predators are using social media. It's easier for them now. Like, the white vans still exist. Don't stop bringing awareness on them white vans, because trust me, in certain situations, they go hand in hand. All right, and don't go by what I'm saying. I want y'all to go do your research, listen to the stories out there. All right, and don't just go by everything you hear on social media. I want y'all to really listen to these real stories out here. People with real stories. All right, like, as crazy as it sounds, and I'm not saying this is not a real story. Never mind. I'm not even going to break that down, because it's going to go over a lot of people's head, all right? Once again, I'm speaking in general, all right? Like, listen, if it doesn't apply, let it fly, all right? But shit, let's move on, all right? There's a lot of people out here with stories, all right? A lot of this shit still happens. Kids still get lured through these chats. All right, parents are still having trouble. That's why a lot of parents are getting stricter, are getting harder with these devices. Even in Australia, they came up with a fucking law where, you know, nobody under the age of fucking 16 is allowed to use social media. They can't. Shit, how do we go about that here in America? Fuck. But anyways, let's continue. Yeah, I'm not gonna sit here and lie. My daughter don't have an account. If she wants to upload in a video, I have to be there, and it's gonna have to go through my account. All right, until she's of age to be able to do that shit. I don't give a fuck what nobody says. All right, I'm not putting my daughter through that shit. I'm not. No chats, none of that shit. Like, for those of y'all that don't know, like, listen, you could disable those Roblox chats and all that. All right, like, but you gotta be there. You gotta be able, you know, to be a part of your kid's life all the time. You can't just feel uncomfortable, you know, being Inspector Gadget, being the detective, being a police officer in your child's life. You have to be all of the above and more, okay?
It will be interesting to see what witnesses they have questioned, if any, to find out evidence of relationships, because I doubt that David will want to be discussing that with police in the midst of what could be a, you know, a suspicious murder. Could be murder, could be a death, could be an overdose. We don't know yet. But my goodness, you guys are good at this. Lauren Conlon, Pascal, and Segun Oduolu, thank you so much for doing this tonight.
Thank you, Ashley. Good to see you again.
Thank you.
Looking forward to seeing all three of you again. And I love that you're live streaming at the same time. Say hi to all your followers. For me. It's been nice being in connection with all of you. We'll do it again. Okay, folks, talk about frustrating. Angie Resendez is killed in Virginia in late May. Her body is found in a duffel bag.
All right, let me pause it right here because that's another story I want to get back into. We're focused on D4VD. All right, guys. Did she jump into the other story already? All right, she did. She did jump into the other story. All right, so we're going to leave that right there. All right, and on the next live, all right, we're going to hit the last video. No, before we hit the last video, we're going to have to do this one. All right, how long is this one? This one's 41 minutes, but is it? Yeah, no, man, we did 2 hours. I'm not going to be on here another 2 hours. All right, so we're going to leave this one tonight, and tomorrow we'll hit this video. But tonight we're going to go, we're also going to watch, we're going to review and react to this other chick. Yo. This is wild, man. Like, I would like to get your honest opinions, all right, on this topic, on the situation. What do y'all believe? How do y'all think? All right. When it comes to this topic, on this situation, what are your opinions? What are your thoughts? What type of solutions can we bring to the table to, you know, prevent situations like this within our communities in the future? This is deep. Oh, I was like, who the hell just came in? And I know these are sensitive conversations, sensitive topics, all right? But this is, you know, this is what happens when we normalize silence, all right? We teach kids. Let me say it again because my voice is breaking up, all right? This is what happens when we normalize silence, all right? We teach kids to idolize fame before they understood boundaries, all right? We let artists build fan base with minors and call it community. We let trauma get, how can I say, authenticized, all right, in lyrics. Like visuals and merch. Like, that's what we letting, you know, this happen. Like, we letting our kids get manipulated by these influencers, right? And as crazy as it sounds, right, the majority of the people out here got nothing more than the, you know, influencer fixation. That's why I don't believe in, you know, how can I say, following these influencers like that. I listen to some of them when they make some, you know, good key talking points. But other than that, nah, man, I don't follow. I'm not a fan. None of that shit. All right. Same thing goes with these celebrities. All right. Ain't none of these influencer celebrity goals. Like, I'm not looking for these relationships. I do my own shit. All right. I got my own beliefs. All right. And I'm not gonna sit here and following an influencer or a celebrity to, live my best life when I could do that myself. All right. So, like, we gotta stop doing that. All right. And what's crazy is that we do that and then, we act shocked when real harm shows up behind the scenes. This isn't just about one missing girl. It's about the culture that how can I say, her disappear. A culture that calls grooming mentorship. We see that a lot with a lot of these, people that are becoming, so-called influencers on social media that are doing podcasting. Some of them are even trying to bring awareness, right, to the grooming and the graping. And I'm sitting here like, how the fuck is you bringing awareness to this shit when you're still in the same type of fucking, how can I say, habit of doing the same shit? You ain't changed, motherfuckers. Y'all on this bitch spreading more of that bullshit. Like, it's okay. It is not okay for grown ass men and grown ass women to sit here and, go after these fucking minors that don't know how to wipe their fucking asses right. You see where I'm coming from? Yet don't even know how to fucking, do full on fucking sentences, and they already want to have. How the fuck does a minor turn you on? Some of these motherfuckers don't give a fuck because they know that motherfuckers will sit here and protect them. Oh, they not like that. They do this. They help the community. But behind closed doors, what the fuck do they do? Let's be real. All right. A culture that calls grooming mentorship. These men out here saying that it's okay for a grown ass man over, past his 20s or in his 30s to have a relationship with a 14, 15-year-old, to have sex with a 16, 17-year-old. Man, get the fuck out my face. A culture that lets trauma become a marketing tool. That's what the fuck it is. A culture that waits for outrage to trend before it moves. And while we're here dissecting timelines, lyrics, and tattoos, the emotional toll is real. Families are grieving, kids are scared, survivors are watching this unfold and wondering in their stories, right? Wondering in their stories if their stories will ever be taken seriously. So we're not just asking questions anymore. We're demanding a shift, all right? A shift that, a shift, how can I say, shift the lens from fame to accountability, shift the narrative, all right, from confusion to clarity, shift the energy from reaction to prevention. Because if we don't, we're just building more silence, and silence is where predators thrive. All right. I want you to take a look at this digital veil that we're in and peep how it's so divided. All right. We got people on one side, all right, sitting here bringing awareness, all right, even though we got people, hey, we bringing awareness, we doing this, all right, and at the same breath they're also trying to, how can I say, bring motivation and inspiration, all right, and in the same breath they bring some comedy and humor because it's like, damn, let's not get depressed, let's find a way. Listen, man, roasting is laughter. That's in the blueprint that our ancestors left, not in the books they gave us to read. But you don't roast the person, you roast the situation that, listen, it's even hard to break it down. I've spoke about it before, and the best way I could put this is in fucking poetry and lyrics is when I'm writing, right? Because when I'm saying this, like my thoughts get scattered all over my head, and it's like I put everything right there. It's like all this that's happening is like we drowning ourselves, and there's a way out. We just need to figure it out. Like, let me see if I can find the poem real quick. I think it's on here. We got it over here. Yeah. I guess so much going on, man. We definitely gonna do part 2 tonight. All right. Make sure I got everything I need for part 2. It's
telling people that I don't get tired of telling people that
And that's some real shit. Some of us need to leave behind this childish toxic race, all right? Like, this isn't just a case, it's a ritual of silence, and we're here to break it, all right? A child gone, a name erased, a body found, and the system still sleeping, still protecting fame, still ignoring the screams. But we remember the ancestors who buried their children and never got answers. We remember the mothers who wailed, all right, in the streets while the courts turned their backs. We remember the fathers who built coffins with, how can I say, calloused hands, all right, and rage in their hearts. And now we ask, how many red flags does it take before the system moves? How many lyrics need to match the crime scene before someone gets questioned? How many fans need to scream before the silence breaks? All right, we're not confused, we're not lost, we're not afraid. We are the descendants of the people who survived chains, betrayal, and erasure. All right. We are the ones who see through the PR, the silence, the consequences. We are the ones who say, if you won't protect our children, we will. So today we sharpen the blade. All right. We speak the names. We dissect the visuals. We question the lyrics. We call out the parents, the platforms, the predators, and the protectors, because it isn't just about David. It's about every child who disappeared while the world looked away. It's about every predator who walked free while the victim got buried. It's about every ancestor who whispered, don't let them forget. We're not building content, we're building caskets, we're building clarity, we're building legacy. All right. Before we log off, I need y'all to feel this, not just to hear it, feel it, because this isn't just a story, it's a mirror. And what it reflects is ugly. All right. A system that protects predators, a culture that silences victims, and a society that waits until it's too late. A child is gone once again, a name erased, a body found, and the silence is defending. All right. But we don't come from silence. We come from ancestors who screamed through shackles, who buried their babies and still stood tall, who built legacies out of grief and fire. And tonight we carry that fire. We carry it for every girl who wasn't believed, for every parent who missed the signs and now lives in the ache, for every fan who saw the red flag and got ignored, for every predator who fought fame, who shielded them. All right. We're not just talking, we're testifying. We're not just reacting, we're remembering.
We're breaking the mold. This in the air, yeah, we're taking control. No more silence, no more fear. Together we rise, let them know we're here. Riders ignite. In the world of division, they showed us how to share. But the weight of our sorrows, they never taught us to bear. We split our joys and laughter, but the pain remained untold. A burden we carry alone, a story left untold. They taught us to split everything, but not the heavy pain. It lingers in the shadows, a darkness we can't explain. We're left with shattered pieces, trying to mend what's lost. They taught us how to split everything, but not the heavy cost. We learned to divide our dreams and multiply our fears, but the ache in our hearts only grew with passing years. They gave us all the answers, except how to heal. The scars that run so deep, wounds that time can't seal. Yeah, they taught us how to share, but only the good. Smiles and laughter like we understood, but deep down inside, there's a storm we hide. Pain in our hearts, we're just trying to ride. Put on a mask, yeah, we play the part, but nobody sees the cracks in the hearts. We share our dreams, the highs and the lows, but when it comes to hurt, we just close the doors. We share the fun times, deflect the pain, laughing in the sunshine, dancing in the rain, but the shadows linger, they creep and they crawl, breaking us down, but we don't share it all. We got hate in our hearts, but we can conceal, taught to share the joy, but wounds, they stay unhealed. They said love was easy to divide, but the heartache never subsides. We tried to split everything into two, but the pain lingers strong and true. Shared our dreams, divided our fears, but the sorrow remained through the years. No matter how we tried to let go, the weight of our suffering continued to grow. Now we're apart trying to heal, but some wounds are too deep to conceal. They said splitting up will set us free, yet the pain lingers in you and me. In a world where rules are set in stone, the system's grip tightens, we're not alone. Bound by chains of injustice greed. Against the odds, we fight to be free. Mighty forces try to keep us down, but our spirits rise, refusing to drown. Defying norms, breaking through the mold. In this battle of wills, our story is told. As the clash continues day by day, we stand united, come what may. For in this world where rules don't apply, our strength and unity will never die. They try to silence our dreams, but we're loud and clear. With every step forward, conquering fear. They can't hold us back. We're the fire and the flame in this battle for freedom. We're all in the game. They say it's just the game, but we're playing for keeps. With the strength of the many, we're shattered elites. No more puppets on strings, we're cutting with our eyes on the prize. We're reaching for the skies, so let's stand together. Let's break down the walls. In this fight for our future, we'll answer the calls. From the ashes, we'll rise like a storm. Riders ignite. It's us versus the system, and we're ready to fight. They're building walls, but we're digging tunnels. With every step we take, we're shaking their bundles. From the streets to the courts, we're raising our voice. In a world full of noise, we're making the choice. They want to keep us blind, but we see the light. Knowledge is power, and we're ready to fight. From the corners of the city to the halls of the state, where the heartbeat of the struggle can't afford to wait. It's us versus the system, we're breaking the mold. It's in the air, yeah, we're taking control. No more silence, no more fear. Together we rise, let them know we're here. Riders ignite. They taught us to split everything, but not the heavy thing. It lingers in the shadows, a darkness we can't explain. We're left with shattered pieces, trying to mend what's lost. They taught us how to split everything, but not the heavy balls. Now we stand here broken, searching for some light, hoping for a way out of this never-ending night. But through it all, we find strength in each other's embrace. Together we'll face tomorrow and find solace in this space. They say don't bring the drama, keep it all light. But every night I'm fighting these demons in sight. Whispers in my mind, yeah, they echo and they shout. While I'm smiling on the surface, I'm breaking without. We're sharing the laughter, but what's underneath? A battlefield of sorrow, a war with no peace. We're warriors in silence, but nobody knows how the pain that we carry just grows and it grows. In a world of lessons learned, they taught us how to stand and burn. But the scars we hide deep inside are the ones that never subside. We followed all the rules they made, but the emptiness never fades. Their wounds like knives, cutting through even wounds that always grew. They painted pictures of success, but couldn't fix what's left from us. Now we're left to bear the strain of the pain that lingers, never wanes. It's us versus the system, we're breaking the mold. That's in the air, yeah, we're taking control. No more silence, no more fear. Together we rise, let them know we're here. Riders ignite. To remember this moment, remember this face, remember this sound. We're the voice of the future, and we won't back down. In the face of oppression, we'll stand up tall. It's us versus the system, and united.